for joining us today to walk through the We Trust Youth Problem Solving Community Workshop 1 list of recommendations, where we'll be focusing on two major topics, the second of which being implementing models of support that actually meet young people's needs. Joy, can you share with us what is the key difference in working with donors and INGOs that have good models of support versus those that don't?
Working with a donor or an NGO that actually has a better model that supports young people, you are included in the process. You feel like you're part of the implementation and you're part of the process, and they hold your hand throughout the process of working with them. There are donors that support young people's needs, that actually ask you what you want, and they have opt-in capacity building, and you don't feel like you're forced to actually participate, but you participate fully and without any limitations. And they have beta funding mechanisms that are very flexible and actually support the needs of young people, that actually go in without lengthy due diligence processes or anything else. They actually accommodate the needs of young people. But then when you're working with a donor that it does not have a good model of support, you actually feel like you're in a bad relationship, you're forced to do things, you're in capacity building sessions that are not needed, and you actually, they don't have funding mechanisms that are flexible. It's either their funding structure is only in English and you only have to apply in English and no other languages are there. And they don't have advisors that you can reach out to. It's like they have a closed door and you can reach out to them at any moment. But then donors that actually support you have that open door policy that you can go to at any time, and you can choose your own mentors, and they actually show you where you can get more funding, and they share your work and they recommend your work to more donors.
That is an incredible example. Thank you so much for sharing that. Are there any examples of institutions doing this successfully that you can share? Is there someone we can look to replicate our model of the system?
Yes, there are multiple organizations, but then one of them is the With and for Girls Collective, which actually goes into when they want to do their due diligence, they don't go through different donors, they go through maybe local practitioners that are already in your community that know your work, and they just ask them for a recommendation that actually shows that you're doing something in the community. That's very simple. They also have their funding mechanisms in different languages. You can apply in English, in Arabic, in Spanish, in French. And also they have advisors that are young people as well that you can reach out to and you can talk to. Like when we received our funding, they had the youngest person that was advising us. She was 19, which was really good because then you can actually participate in the whole process. And they ask you where you need support on, and not just assuming that this is the area you need support in. And they have opt-in capacity building sessions where you can choose what you want to learn and what you don't want to learn. You're not forced to do anything with them. And then there is also the Frida Young Feminist Fund, which has a WhatsApp group, a regional WhatsApp group for young people, where you can go in and talk to them about your different contexts that you work in. You can talk about it with other young people. You have a chance to connect, to collaborate, and also to share ideas. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, it was the best place to be in because you could know that you were not alone. You had a community of other young people that were going through the same thing. And also there is Mama Cash, which offers co-funding. And then they also have an additional grant that offers support for resilience and care for young people. And they also offer capacity building sessions that you can choose to go in or not. And they also recommend your work and share your work on their social media platforms, which is one of the things that young people really need.
That is an incredible list of resources right there that you're providing people with. I hope you guys check it, each of the organization that Joy has mentioned today, and make sure to replicate your models to be the same way. Finally, Joy, can you outline several of the key recommendations that We Trust Youth Initiative is proposing here?
So as We Trust Youth Initiative, we're proposing to have models that better support young people, models that actually show that these are the needs that young people have and this is what they're supposed to be given. So our first recommendation is that you should ground your learnings in models that support young people, in models that actually coming from young people. Ask young people what they want, have opt-in capacity building sessions where they can choose whether to attend or not, and also ask them on what areas they need capacity building on so that they can actually participate in those sessions. And then secondly, have funding mechanisms that are flexible and accessible to young people. Funding mechanisms that are available in multiple languages, not just one language or maybe 2 or 3, but multiple languages that can actually get young people involved. The more you make your funding mechanisms available to young people, the more you have them to participate in your sessions, and the more you know what young people actually need, and you also build your own capacity. And then third, you have to come up with resources that support young people's care and resilience, not only opting for coming up with different resources that only support young people financially in their work and everything, but then also focus on their needs, their care, and their well-being. We're going through different contexts. We're working through different contexts that need different care resources. So just offer that care. It's either it can be financial or it can be a free space where they can participate, where they can listen to each other, and where they can actually collaborate. And thirdly, set up spaces where young people can connect, collaborate, and network. That is very essential. As young people, we learn from each other more than we learn from donors and NGOs. So just have deliberate spaces where we can learn from each other, where they can actually feel like they're participating in the process, and where they can build their own capacity. That's like the best place for capacity building, because you don't have to feel like you're in a room and you're being taught something, but you're learning from somebody else that is going through the same process, and it's the same age, and it's the same in different contexts, but in the same places that you're working in. So those are the major recommendations that we have to make sure that your resources are supporting young people and are better for young people and are actually accessible to young people.
Incredible stuff, Joy. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Stay tuned for more updates of We Trust Youth Initiative. We've got a lot more exciting things coming up. Stay tuned.